All right, welcome to the Summit tradition of making German stars. Our first step is to fold each piece of your 4 strips of paper in half and trim the open edge so that it's on like a slant. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just simply allows your paper to go through the folded parts a little bit easier. Okay, so I have all 4 strips that are trimmed on an angle on the open edge like this. Our next step is to kind of create a weave. So we're going to use all 4 pieces of paper and we're going to start with our open edge pointing towards the 12 o'clock spot. Then we'll take another color and we'll do the opposite. So we have the folded side next to it. Then we take our 3rd strip and we have the open edge pointing toward the 3 o'clock spot. We do the opposite and we have our folded edge pointing toward the 3 o'clock spot. So we have open, close, open, close. Now we're going to weave. So we start with our first strip. And I always say to the students that it has to eat this first strip, so this entire purple one is inside of the blue. And then the blue piece of paper has to feed the green. So both pieces of blue need to go inside of the green. The students will think or get messed up on this part because they only put one piece of this strip inside, and it's really important that both pieces of the blue are inside of the green. We do the same thing with the red. So the red eats the green. So both pieces of the green are now inside of the red. And then each piece of the red feeds the purple. And if we did it correctly, we should be able to kind of carefully pull. And you want it kind of nice and tight so that you have squares like that. And if you did it correctly, it should feel sort of locked and your top strip should be coming off the left side of your square, pointing towards 12 o'clock. Our next step is to take the 12 o'clock strip, one of them, fold it down towards the 6 o'clock spot, counterclockwise, so you'll take your 9 o'clock strip over towards the 3. And notice I'm only taking the top strip of each one. You'll take your 6 o'clock strip and fold it up towards the 12. And then this last step with the 3 o'clock spot, we call it the 3 o'clock lock. You go over the red and you tuck it inside of this blue one here. So it looks like that. And basically this will lock all of your paper in place. Next we have what we call, I guess this is like getting the tips of our stars ready. So notice I have this bottom strip that's shorter than the top. You'll always work from the 3 o'clock spot. So you'll take your bottom one and you'll turn it sort of under like this down towards the 6 o'clock on your star. Students are going to want to fold over like that, but this is very important that we fold it under so that paper can come back through the further along we get into our star. Rotate your star, 3 o'clock spot, bottom piece, the shorter piece, you do the same thing. And you fold. And you're going to do this 4 times. Now that we're in sort of the process of our star, there's 4 tips, so everything is going to be in sets of 4. And this is your last one. So you can see you have 4 points. Now what you're going to do is you're going to be working from the 6 o'clock spot, and you're going to use the same piece that you just made your triangles with, and this is called the roller coaster. So we tell students to sort of make a loop, and then they're going to twist their hand like that. So they make a loop, and they twist, and this goes tucked inside this very first square. And you can see it coming out here. And then you pull and crease, and you take the same piece that you were just working with and you bring it back over to cover the tip of the star that you made so you can't see that tip. And then you bring the short piece down, and you're making what will eventually be a point in your star. And you know that you've done this correctly if it kind of pops up on its own. Then you rotate, and you do the same thing. Make your loop, twist, make your loop, twist, tuck it through, crease, bring it back over so you can't see that point you just made. And this goes right on top of the 6 o'clock spot. And we'll do that 4 times. Everything's in a group of 4. Make your loop, twist, and tuck it through that first square right there. Crease, and bring down, and then our last one will be the green. Make your loop and twist. Crease, back over, and then directly on top of the 6 o'clock strip. So now you can kind of see the 4 points that you'll eventually create on your star. So then we have to just set those down, and I flip it over, and now we're basically starting from scratch on the opposite side. We're doing everything the same. So we're starting at our 3 o'clock spot. We're pulling gently down towards 6 and creasing. And this is the spot where students are going to want to fold over, but we have to fold under. So you can see the papers being pulled underneath. Stop. 4 times. Okay. And then we start our roller coaster. So we make our loop, we twist, pull it through, and crease. So now you're going to see that both colors side by side, blue, should be next to each other like that. And that's kind of a tip to tell you that, yep, you've done it correctly. So you'll make your loop, twist, push it through, crease, bring it back over. Okay, and I check I have purple by purple, loop, crease, red by red, and my last one is the green. Crease and down. So I have all greens, blues, and reds and purples in the correct spot. So now I kind of pop up these peaks like this. And again, you're always working from your 3 o'clock spot. This one, I tell the kids that they're going to go around the bend. So you're simply making a U. And then we have to make sure that this outside part of the paper, this top part of the paper, is going underneath your 12 o'clock point, which is my purple one. So I'm going to kind of push it through there, and you can see the red is starting to come out over here. And you're just gonna pull right until it sort of feels tension, and you're gonna stop, and that creates your peak. So you'll turn it again, and you'll be working with your purple. So you'll pop it up, you go around the bend. This outside part of the paper needs to be looking at you underneath your 12 o'clock peak, which is the blue one. This part takes a little jimmying to get it through. It comes through and you pull just until you feel tension. And you'll do that 4 times like everything else. Around the bend, outside part of the paper, underneath your 12 o'clock point, which is green. And then my last one, I go under the red point, like that. So that side is complete. And now I just need to do the same thing. I pop up my 4 tips or points on the other side, and I start at my 3 o'clock spot, and I go around the bend, outside part on the top goes underneath your 12 o'clock point, around the bend, outside part faces up, and you're going to do that 4 times. And that is your completed star. The last step we always tell students is that they can trim. There's a couple of different ways to trim. So if they're going to trim close, we tell them to leave a tiny bit of paper here so that it doesn't like end up pulling itself out. So that's one way that students can often do it. Another way that we've had them is they like to cut just straight across, or a little of both. And there is your completed German star.